LEGO Star Wars and LEGO Star Wars 2 The Original Trilogy, two action platforming games, both respectively released in 2005 and 2006. They captivated the gaming world and started a sensation. Before I start, you're probably wondering why I have to read both in one review, instead of just reviewing the complete saga or reviewing them both separately. Well, in all honesty, I have never played the complete saga and refuse to shell out money for practically the same game, even if there are slight changes and add-ons, even though I did pay for 2 copies of New Hope, but that's another story. And I've not reviewed them separately because I don't feel that they're that different enough to earn 2 different reviews. Basically, LEGO Star Wars games reenact the major events of the 6 Star Wars films, only with LEGO. To complete a level, you must get from your starting point to the finishing point, along the way battling enemies and solving puzzles. The occasional level requires you to take control of a vehicle and overcome a scrolling level or a level that's on the rails. Once each level has been completed, you can play it in free mode, which allows you to take a selection of unlocked characters into the game and find hidden collectibles. Extra tasks in levels range from collecting certain amounts of coins, which has to be done in both story and free play in LEGO Star Wars 2, finding mini-kit pieces, 10 in each level, which make a small LEGO model for display when complete, and in LEGO Star Wars 2 you can find red bricks which unlock extra options and cheats. Some characters have special abilities which aids them in finding hidden pieces, such as some have double jump and others have force powers. I have played the PS2 version just to clarify when explaining the controls. The D-pad and analog stick move the character around. The X button allows your character to jump, and if it has the ability, if you press it again in the air, you'll do a double jump. The square button attacks, and if held down when playing as a Jedi, will put up your guard with the lightsaber, or if just pressed before a laser touches you, you'll deflect it back at the enemy. In LEGO Star Wars 2, the square is also a dodge button when playing as characters carrying blasters. The circle button is the special ability button. For example, Force users use Jedi powers, but allows a small character to access a vent, while characters with blasters will use a grapple hook. The triangle button lets you switch between available characters during gameplay, and the shoulder buttons will allow you to change between selected characters during free play. LEGO Star Wars games look how exactly they're meant to look. They look as if they're Star Wars settings made of LEGO. All the levels are well designed and are instantly recognisable against all the backdrops of the Star Wars universe. The game takes all the appropriate music from the film, although it's not a complete copy. A best example would be the Duel of the Fates tune when in the last part of Episode 1, as there's no vocals in LEGO Star Wars. Going on to vocals, it also brings up voice acting. There's no such thing as voice acting in LEGO Star Wars apart from grunts and groans and a few other noises, but this suits the game well as you're not expecting huge amounts of dialogue. Ironic, considering the last game I reviewed was praised so highly for its voice acting. LEGO Star Wars was originally marketed as a kids game and surprised many when it reached the top of many gamer charts in May 2005. It was released a full month before Episode 3, which was surprising since it contains some information about the film, which is generally what George Lucas goes against. It would ironically lose its place at the top of the gamers chart to the game of Episode 3. The success has led to the release of obviously LEGO Star Wars 2 The Original Trilogy and a couple of other LEGO games in LEGO Indiana Jones The Original Adventures and LEGO Batman. As mentioned earlier, there is a compilation of LEGO Star Wars 1 and 2 for next generation consoles called LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. So on to the bad points about these games. In the original LEGO Star Wars, levels are extremely short, due probably to the age target at the time and how it was meant to be an introduction to get people gaming. The first level of Episode 2 is also extremely poor, as there's only 2 levels to play as, one being Obi-Wan and the other being a droid. It can be dull, especially if you're playing that as a co-op. The pod race section is extremely frustrating if you play it in co-op as well, because you've both got to be able to fit through the gaps which seem to be made for one-player games. As can Mustafar the first time round, this can also be a frustrating level. However, you eventually get over it and you can do it after a couple of attempts. In LEGO Star Wars 2, the lightsaber collision is very bad. You can see at certain times that your lightsaber clearly swipes through enemies, but does not make a scratch on them. It usually takes a second attempt to do any damage. Double jump has also been removed, making imported characters that had this special ability in the first game absolutely useless. They would see this mistake in the future and return the ability for LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga and LEGO Indiana Jones. So on to the good points about the LEGO Star Wars games. Simplistic gameplay opens up the game to an outside gaming audience. Therefore you'll end up playing games with someone who you wouldn't regularly play video games with, and you end up getting a different view on playing video games. Drop-in play also allows someone to come in and play whenever they want without you having to restart the level and waiting for them to adjust to the game, or you having to adjust to a partner coming in. Huge amounts of characters from the Star Wars universe to play as also is a huge plus for this game, as you can have such a huge variety on who you play as. You have so many different ways of taking out different enemies. The humorous recreation of the Star Wars events also adds some sort of charm that without it being there, the game probably wouldn't have been as much fun. Exclusively to LEGO Star Wars 2, the huge amount of collectibles in it makes it much more value for money than the first game, and you'll spend a huge amount of time just going through the game collecting all the extras. Imports from the previous game also mean you've got an even bigger roster to play as, and gives you a reason to go back and get the characters if you didn't get them first time round from LEGO Star Wars 1. The improved vehicle sections also give more freedom, and it's just more fun to play them, although they're still not up to par to the rest of the game. LEGO Star Wars games offer simple fun. Sometimes you just need to take a break from the GTAs and Halos of the world and just experience gaming at its most simplistic, just so you can appreciate how much a game can still offer when stripped to its essentials. Despite the minor faults each game delivers, LEGO Star Wars games are considered to be classics in my eyes. LEGO Star Wars the video game gets a 7 out of 10, while LEGO Star Wars 2 the original trilogy gets 8 out of 10. The halfway point of the Star Wars season will be looking at Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Dark Forces, which came out on PC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.